I guess the ding dong isn't the door. I guess that's when
Yeah,
someone's.
you don't look like Kimberly.
No, I don't.
So Gary, how's things going for you? And your move? Are you all getting ready to do that?
Today's 36 days, but who's counting?
Oh,
Hey, you gotta get those golf courses in shape first, Gary.
He didn't comment on that one, Keith.
I guess
No, I
not.
didn't
Maybe
comment.
Hey, I played today. It's getting better every day.
Good. Good to hear. Is it starting to dry out any?
Well, I was at Ponce. It was good last week, and then we had rain again, and you know it needs a week without rain. We're not going to have that happen very soon.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I was at Magellan yesterday and all 18 holes were open.
Hi,
Yeah.
Oki. Oki.
Hello. Hello, hello.
Hi, Mike. You made it. Good.
I did.
I can hear you. Looks like we need Ralph. Anybody seen Ralph on here yet? There's Juan. Hi, Juan.
Hello, Rhonda.
Good to see you.
Good
I
to
like
see ya.
the background.
That's the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little away from home.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad we're here and not in California.
Really?
yeah.
Well, for those of you that didn't hear, Tom is not going to sign on until 1 minute till time for the meeting to start because
He's here.
I'm on. He's on.
Tom's on. Okay, so that means we're recording
It's
now.
3 o'clock.
Okay, so we're waiting for, I believe, Ralph.
I don't see Phil either.
Bill's here.
Okay, now I see him.
He was here, yeah. So I think we just need Ralph.
I got 17 people.
17.
I got 17 too.
Hi, there's Jim.
Yep,
How are you, Jim? Haven't seen you in a long
Talking
time.
to me?
I'm good.
Jim has been gone to Arizona for a couple months.
There's Sandy.
Sandy's on, right?
Yep.
Yeah, hi,
Where's Sandy?
good to see you. So we'll wait a minute or two and see if Ralph shows up. Show,
Mr. Hole in One.
pardon?
Mr. Oswald, congratulations.
Thank you.
I hear you almost got two.
I was within a quarter inch of having 2, I think.
Oh my God.
I hit one on 8 that disappeared for a second, and we thought it was so. We were congratulating everybody, or they were all congratulating me in the tee, and we thought it was in. And Mike walked over to the edge and took out his rangefinder and said, "Boy, I think it might be about 6 inches behind the hole." But it went in and just like it hit the foam and bounced out. It was 6 inches above the hole, and I got a 2 there, and then I made the 1 on 11.
That's great. How exciting. When
Yeah,
was
that
this?
fun.
When did that happen?
Yesterday.
For now.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
We're at.
Number 5.
Which course?
Ralph's on.
Yay, Ralph.
There we are.
Enough.
Okay, Ralph, are you there?
I am here.
Okay,
Can
good.
you hear me?
Yes, there you are. Okay, so everyone's here. To officially call the meeting to order. It's 3:02, so we did really good on time. First order of business, I would like to entertain a motion to approve the order of business. Do I hear a motion?
I motion.
I'll
Jamin?
second it.
Who
Second. Ralph seconds.
Okay, so no changes on the agenda?
Nope, looks good.
Okay, so approved. Next, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the February minutes. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Approve the minutes.
Okay, and a second? Okay, any corrections or discussion? Okay, so approved. Next, for my remarks, first I'd like to mention to you that the golf committee has identified 2 new members for the golf committee. They'll be starting in June. They will be replacing Jim Oswald and myself. And those two new committee members are Karen Nickel, a woman that has been a resident since 2018. She's also a member of WGA. And Greg Spear, who has been a resident since 2017. And probably several of you guys know Greg. So I think those are going to be two really good additions to the golf committee. They will go and be presented to the golf committee on the May agenda to be approved. So they'll start in June. And next, really important part for my comments is that I would like to recognize Mike Medica. And Mike, I want to say that on behalf of the golf committee and the golf department, we want you to know how much we appreciate all of your contributions that you've given to the golf committee. You've been board liaison, what, is it 6 years?
Yep. It's all over.
6 years, and we just, it's going to be really difficult and strange not to have you sitting at our table each month when we have our meetings. I want to say, on behalf of the golf committee and the golf department, okay, just heard the noise. I thought maybe it was one of you talking. So I understand that in Mike's previous life, he was a cowboy. And so because of that, I want to say that on behalf of all of us, we want to present this to Mike. And Mike, this is a statue, and you can notice it kind of looks like a Pony Express rider, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that the Pony Express riders were dedicated, and that's how we see you and your dedication. So that being said, I have a few words that I've written for you that I'd like to read.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take a few moments and talk about Mike today. He's given so much. How do we weigh? He devoted his time. He served out his terms. His contributions are many. His legacy confirms. Of course, he handled the standard affairs, served on committees, did more than his share. Gut-wrenching at times because he cares. It wasn't about him. First, he put theirs. He served 2 terms as director on the board. As chair, his dedication moved the village forward. Let us speak in detail about Mike's dedication. He's seen litigation, stagnation, deflation, and inflation, endured aggravation, accusation, altercation, and damnation, surely giving him inflammation and constipation. Through this, he's achieved admiration, citations, commendations, and adoration. Surely he deserves relaxation and a vacation. Now, as liaison, he's appreciated by this committee of 9. We admire his dedication. He leads us to shine. Mike helped village golfers live the dream, helped 4 years plan and develop the scheme, spent huge amounts of time achieving things hard when he could have been writing birdies on a scorecard. He's kind of like a cowboy back in the West, a dedicated rider like the Pony Express. In the saddle, he carries on, this dedicated rider, singing as he gallops towards a horizon wider. So we say, so long as into the sunset you glide. Thank you for your dedication, Mike, for your dedicated ride. And this statue, if you look really close, let's see if I can get it to show here. It shows Mike, the dedicated rider.
Thank you. Well, I really appreciate that, Rhonda. You guys are fantastic. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you. It's a small gesture that we could give to show you our appreciation for all that you've done for the golf committee and for the board for all the sacrifices and contributions that you've made. We want to say thank you. And I will deliver this.
Well, can I just say that there's supposed to be a cake too?
We were going to have a cake. Marge was going to
have cake.
That was the plan originally. We'll have to just celebrate this way. I will deliver this over to you either later today or tomorrow. If that's okay, Mike, I'll contact you first.
Rhonda,
Yes?
may I suggest you add your poem to that when you take it to him?
Oh, I am. Yeah, I've got it all typed up and ready for you.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so moving forward on the agenda to Tom and his remarks. Tom?
Thanks, Rhonda. While we're on that mode, I would like to just, before I start my report, just make another little presentation. So as Gary Meyer stated that he has roughly 36 days left here in Hot Springs Village, he'll be retiring. So I want to have a little presentation to give to Gary from the committee and also the golf department. Just a quick thing about Gary, meeting Gary for the first time, you really walk up to him and he seems so outgoing and warm and fuzzy. And, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's been fun getting to know Gary, and he has a great sense of humor once he opens up and lets you in. And he's a truly, truly great professional. And I'm going to miss him personally. And we've worked well together. And Gary, thanks for everything you do. And if I can turn my camera, we got you a little something with the Hot Springs Village logo. I know you got it a bag, but this one's much better. So I will get this.
It is. Thank you.
I'll get this to your office tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
I wish you the best of luck, Gary.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Yep.
Thank you, Gary.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Gary. We're going to miss you so much.
Yep.
I truly hope that all the superintendents have gleaned all that they could from you while good, and that they continue with all of the great things that you've done with the golf courses.
Well, you've got 4 of them on here, and I'm very confident that they will just keep moving forward and making things better and better.
Well, we hope so, and we think so too. You did a great job grooming them, and we appreciate it. We're going to miss you a lot.
I might throw in just a little tidbit here that your service to us has been noticed and appreciated.
Seem to be having a lot of interference somewhere.
Yeah, I'm hearing it too.
Yeah. Gary, we wish you all the best in your retirement. I know that you're going to have time now to do all the fun things that you haven't been able to do since you've been working so hard here. And even though selfishly we're going to miss you, we really are happy for you to enjoy life as you are.
I'll finally start playing golf again.
Yay. That's great. Enjoy your new golf bag.
Yeah.
Retirement will be the best job you ever had, Gary.
Yeah, I second that.
I don't doubt.
Okay, Tom, you're still on.
I'm still on, yes. The March 2020 golf report, we were 3,033 rounds behind last year. A couple of major reasons for that. We had the coronavirus strike in the middle of the month, and also we had 14 consecutive days of rain in the middle of the month, so which led to 74 fewer playable days. But we're doing good, and we're trucking along very well until the virus and the rain hit us. I want to keep you guys all updated that we are sanitizing everything possible we can right now to keep golf open, the golf shops, the golf carts. Gary's doing a great job, and all the guys and superintendents on the call right now of keeping the restrooms on the halfway houses sanitized. We're doing everything we can to keep it safe. We've taken the range buckets out, the drinking fountains, the ball washers, the rakes. They've all been removed. And the foam inserts have been a big asset too. So we're going to continue to keep it as safe as possible and move forward. And hopefully this thing will break eventually so we can get back to some 2 people on a golf cart would be wonderful again. So that's just what we're going to do. As you all know, league play has been suspended, and we're taking that as it comes to us. tournaments, Golf Now, stay and play packages, all been canceled through April. And right now we're taking a look at May because we have to get that out to these people before they travel, which most of them are not allowed anyways. But Matt's doing a great job on the phones every day, calling it, talking packages. We have rescheduled some already later in the year, so we're not losing them. And we're working on another plan this week to reach out as soon as the bans are lifted, to reach out by email to all of our old packages, tournaments, and everything. So, all guest play has been restricted. That's just open now to all their members and only accompanying guests. So right now we're allowing the members to bring guests, but they have to play with them. They have to get them in the gates, and they have to be with them. So right now that's the only time there's guests in the village. We're trying to keep this safe for all the members. So if we just have open guests comes, we don't know where they're coming from. So we were getting a bunch of them, so we had to cut that off. The last thing I have is we went through our survey that we had in January, February, and March about the grade 18 golf holes in HSV. I have all those results. They're kind of fun. They're interesting, some surprises. So I now know the best 18 holes in all of our 8 golf courses voted by the members, and I'm going to keep that to myself because we're going to start a tournament as soon as it comes feasible when we open up to this virus and maybe the league's back open and we can start this tournament. Just a side note, I follow this every day. Right now, there are 48% of the golf courses are open in the country. So about half the country's open and half isn't, as well as golf courses. Some of that's due to weather too, as I got a picture from my sister who lives in New York today that got snow. So there's still, the weather is not great, plus obviously New York's a mess. 15 total states are closed down totally for golf. So thankful, and we're kind of lucky to be where we are. So I will take any questions you have.
I heard today Hawaii is even closed. There's no golf in Hawaii right now.
Well, outside of Oahu, there are some. I just read this morning too, Jim. Oahu is definitely closed down. There's some outer islands that they are allowing it.
As Lois Facebooked and broadcast my hole in one, and we got a comment from our friends in Hawaii, and they're in Maui, and she said, "Boy, I'm surprised you're golfing in Arkansas because we're not golfing in Maui."
Right, the high urban areas, no, or the busy areas.
We're fortunate to be able to still have the courses open here.
Yes, we are.
Okay, if there's no further questions for Tom, we'll move to Gary for your report, Gary.
Speaking of courses open, it's except for the changes with the cups and everything for the golf maintenance team, it's business as usual. And they just, as of today, completed the 6 bentgrass course aerifications. Isabella is finishing up today. They'll open up tomorrow. 2 out of
Muted.
me. You guys hear me?
You blacked out. If you could start over, Gary.
All right.
Six of the
The
courses.
host, Tom, muted me for some reason. So anyhow, 6 out of the 8, 6 courses are done. 4 out of 6 had rain issues. The last 2 weeks, fortunately, it didn't rain on Monday. The first 4, it rained on Mondays, and so they were always struggling with rain. But last week, Granada, this week, Isabella, they were able to make it through without the rain. And we're confident since October of last year, we've been looking to this week at Granada, knowing that this week we'd be fully recovered from what took place. So Keith's done a great job, and those greens should be 100% by the end of next week, is where I would predict. The Bermuda courses will start the 1st of June. So they are going through the process of hiring my replacement. I don't know that I can give details, but there's both external and an internal candidate have been interviewed. They actually received over 30 resumes, and I think we interviewed 9 people. So we're going to go from there, and we use Zoom just like we're doing now. So the next phase will be once people can travel. So if it happens before I leave, great. If it doesn't, then have at it. So, I don't know that it's on the agenda, but one of the things you asked, Rhonda, was about the butterfly gardens. 3 superintendents that are on here plan on planting plants for butterflies. Keith at Granada, Donald at Magellan, and Tammy at DeSoto. All 3 are planning to plant plants to attract butterflies.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Isn't that true, Tammy, Keith, Donald?
Yes.
Correct.
So they can go into more detail if you want as far as what they're doing. I don't know if you want to take the time to do that, but they can go into detail whenever you want. So that's it. The weather, obviously, as cold as it is, it's just it's not green enough as quickly, which has been kind of helpful in a sense, but they have started mowing a little bit fairways. Greens are greening up, even the Bermuda green. So everything's moving slowly. Since it was 35 yesterday, 37 today. So that's where we're at.
Every night you need.
I noticed we played Cortez, and you started punching some fairways and rough area. Is that going to continue to all the golf courses?
Yeah, because we couldn't get to it because of rain. And
Right.
so they're going to try to get it the best they can because Cortez was raining all week. They just barely were able to airify. Same with Coronado. Coronado was barely able to get through the greens. So
I know with individuals in carts, we're having a lot more carts on the courses, and I'm not an expert, but I would think the airification should help with some of that.
yeah, well, yeah, it's needed. If they can't get it done, we'll have the conversation. If they didn't get it done, they need to get it done at some point this summer. Yes.
Thank you.
That's great.
Gary, I'd like to comment that I think that the greens that have been airified already have recovered very, very well. Maybe it's just, the conditions were right or whatever, but it didn't take them very long to get back in shape, I don't think.
Typically, the spring airification takes longer than the fall because soil temperatures aren't as warm. But
I think that these have been really quite good.
Yeah.
I know that there's been springs when it seems like it took much longer.
The guys, the key is getting them, putting enough sand on them to fill the holes. Those are 2 keys.
Gary, I got a question. When they aerate, sometimes they have big holes, big plugs, and other times they have smaller, and it looked like this time they used all small plugs. Is that?
Not necessarily small. We use the same size in the spring.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about a ½ inch. Now, for the Bermuda, they're going to go big. I would here, but they're planning on using bigger tines.
I agree that they seem to have come back faster than other years, but I thought maybe they were using a little smaller tines or a little smaller holes than they did. But you're saying they're always the same size.
Yeah, they're basically the same.
Okay.
Gary, do the guys top dress the greens, and like we find sand on them some days that like a little film, especially early in the morning, you notice it if you're playing early because the ball looks like a sand ball instead of a golf ball when you roll them on the greens. Are they top dressing some of those greens also to help smooth them out?
Yeah, top dressing is part of the airification process, but then even after the airification, top dressing will take place on the bent grass from now until July, weekly or bi-weekly.
Right.
And a light top dressing. In fact, it's so light they usually just turn sprinklers on and water it in.
Yes.
And Bermuda will be doing the same thing. So yeah, top dressing, it's for both. It's for thatch reduction and for help smoothing them out.
Okay.
Anybody have any more questions for Mike? I mean, for Gary, I'm sorry. Mike is
Yeah, nothing like that.
Gary, and for all of you, I understand Gary's last day is May 22nd, and our next meeting is May 21st. So this, Gary, it's up to you. I'm thinking this might be our last meeting with you. So
This is my last meeting.
I kind of had a feeling it was.
In fact, you older, everybody will know him. I'm supposed to be at King Griffey Jr.'s house that next day, so
Whoa!
I'm supposed to be in Orlando.
You go, boy.
Wow. Yeah. Don't worry about us.
Yeah. Well, we've been friends for 15 years or longer.
Oh wow! Did you meet him through golf?
Football, Pop Warner football.
Oh, cool.
Is that
I
junior?
coached his oldest son for 6 seasons and his youngest son for 3 seasons. And his youngest is getting ready to graduate from high school. So there's a party for him.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And the party is the May 22nd. So,
Well, I hope they get to have a.
yeah, so that's the other part. I don't know.
Yeah.
Him and I spoke a couple weeks ago when his father-in-law passed, but yeah, who knows?
Is
We
that
sure
the,
all the best.
Gary, is that senior or junior you're talking about?
Junior.
Okay, because they both played for the Reds.
Right. And I've been around senior a lot. Senior's been around a lot.
That's exciting. I know you've got a lot of exciting things ahead of you, Gary, and we'll miss you. So,
My first thing is this is my next beer I'm going to make, and it's a hazy IPA. So
he's already got his plans made. That's great. Now, next on the agenda is Mike Medica, and we're kind of on the fence here because yesterday, I guess, Mike, was your official last time with the board. I'm not sure how that works. But
Yes.
whether it's official or unofficial, we would still like to hear a report from you.
Well, I'll answer any questions. The board meeting itself had a lot to do with some changes. We made some changes to the ACC, some revisions that I think will make it easier for members and contractors and maybe even developers, that a little easier to understand some things that they may want. ACC committee spent a lot of time with Ms. Heffert and came up with these changes, and we approved them yesterday. We also found out we have 4.2 million in cash on hand, and we have $1 million line of credit that we can get. So we're not really in bad shape right now from a cash standpoint. We can meet our obligations. Yeah, I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime, so it's a little difficult to get around. This is a pretty dangerous thing out there. Anyway, after the meeting, and I wasn't there for it, but Diane Polowitz was voted in as chair and Lloyd Sherman as vice chairman. The secretary, I believe, is Marcy Marmel, and I think they named Dan Hal Aylward as a financial person for the board. But first, yeah, I think that's the way it worked. Anyway, I have a few things that I'd like to say about the committee. When I first started on this thing 6 years ago, I remember the first couple of meetings, and I'm thinking, you dummy, I mean, the room was full of members who came to complain. I think I started under John Paul, then it was Ray Kroc, and then Tom Effer. And on the golf committee, the two main ones, Grover and Rhonda, who have been very good leaders, outstanding leaders. The committee has really evolved over the years with the additions of members who have really done well in communicating with golfers in the golf department. that's what's pleased me more than anything, the ideas exchanged in the committee, the free flow of information and ideas. From my standpoint, when I first came, all I heard was problems with number 1 on Ponce, they couldn't drive, 14 at Magellan, the golf courses were overwatered. And then we hired an agronomist. And Gary Myers came on board with new ideas and new superintendents, or some new superintendents. We opened courses to more cart traffic, found some other issues, and I have not heard hardly any complaints on golf courses now for the last few years. So to me, that tells me the golfers are pretty happy, and I know quite a few. You also, I think probably the most important thing is he brought his greenskeepers to the golf committee meetings, and these changes really became important because what I've seen is the committee talk to the greenskeepers, to Gary. I mean, you brought up a lot of different issues and problems, and what I like is you may get immediate feedback, but if you don't, you'll get feedback. And that is good, because the more we can keep the golf community informed about what's going on, the better off we are. I also like the golf committee works with a lot of programs, junior golf, adopt a hole, tournaments, re-rating of courses, and many other things. And that's, again, through the leadership of the committee has really become involved, and that is absolutely super. This has led, from what I see, to fewer members attending the meetings. But you know what? They don't have complaints. They're out there golfing. That's what we want them to be doing. So this really has, from my standpoint, put that golf committee right up there with the best, because you have really come a long way from when I first started on the committee, and that's very appreciative. I want to extend my thanks to Mr. Myers. He's done a great job with the superintendent, and they've done a great job. And also the committee people that you have really done well going out and talking to the different golfers and bringing it back. One of the things I like I never wanted to be the focus in a committee meeting. I always like to hear a free flow of communications, and that's what this committee has come to, and that's great. Well, I really want to thank you for all you've done, and I am very, very appreciative, and whoever becomes in charge, they're going to have a tough road to follow, because you've done an outstanding job. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you, Mike. And I've enjoyed sitting next to you at these meetings, and I wish we were sitting there today. So.
Yeah. Well, so do I. I actually played golf last week with my wife. She rolled around the cart with me too. We both played, but that's the first time I've been out in quite a while. And I'm getting antsy about playing again. They put off I was going to get some medical stuff done on my right hand, and they put that off till all this coronavirus was over. This is a mess, right? But I didn't hurt my hand when I swung the club, which the last time I swung the club with it did hurt for like a week and a half. So maybe I'll be playing a lot more right now.
Just think, Mike, going forward, you're going to have some time to be able to do some things you enjoy.
Yeah, I am. And I thank you, Rhonda, for your leadership. You've really done a great job.
No, thank you. I've enjoyed it.
I agree. She has done a great job. What have you been in chair? 3-4 years, Rhonda?
3, I think.
3?
Yeah.
Mike,
But it's definitely time for somebody new to take over.
Yeah.
On my behalf, I'm talking about, not you, Mike or Gary.
And Mike, at the last board meeting, was there any discussion as who the new liaison may be to the golf committee?
No, I didn't. In fact, I haven't heard it yet. I don't know. They may be trying to figure it out.
Pretty sure it's going to be Dick Garrison.
I don't know. I have not.
Okay, guys, well, let's move forward with the agenda. We do have a little bit of a time limit on our Zoom meeting here. So the next on the agenda are the subcommittee reports. Oki, do you have anything to report regarding the communications?
Not anything new. I guess really there's a question since we haven't started league play again, or there's a question what impact this is going to have with our 22nd date next month. Especially it's going to be kind of hard to, I guess, for getting volunteers and so forth, since it's kind of uncertain up until the time we really have it. So do we need to look at postponing and adding a new date or what?
Well, the actual holding of the event is up to Tom whether we postpone it or have it. As far as volunteers go, I have quite a list of volunteers. I have between what you thought you might get added to what I have as far as names that have raised their hand, we have enough.
Right. Well, we were going to bring it up at the spring meeting of MGA, and we had kind of an announcement to go out, and the president of the MGA was going to let us just make the presentation herself, and then that got canceled. So as a result, we haven't really sent that out yet, and so we need to probably do it via email if we want to see if we can solicit some. But there may be, I'm not sure exactly how successful we may be just sending an email out and trying to get people to sign up versus being able to really push them in person, when we had the meeting.
Well, I got about 17 of them by email, so
Yeah, okay.
I think that is effective.
We'll try that.
Mostly, I'd say it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and get names for volunteers, whether we hold it on May 22nd or if it gets moved back, rescheduled. Right. Tom and Matt, I think, are the ones that are kind of waiting to see. Tom and Matt, do either of you have?
Yeah, we're waiting. We're not that far yet into May, but we'll definitely make that decision well enough in advance. But yeah, I'm with Rhonda. I think Oki. I don't think it'll hurt to get volunteers, whether it's for the 22nd or a later date in the year.
Will do. Okay.
Another good news, Oki and Rhonda, we did receive a check from Regions Bank too for sponsorship of the.
Good. That's wonderful. That means it's going to be a fun event.
Absolutely.
That's great. All right.
Can I add something, Rhonda? Junior Golf is going to make a determination on their season on May 15th.
Okay. Well, hopefully they get to move forward as planned.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're running into some issues with, there's only going to be so many dates in the fall. People are looking at fall events that are moved from the spring, and it's filling up fast, and we want to make sure that we have the better dates for our tournaments. So.
Yeah. Well, hopefully everything doesn't have to get moved back as far back as the fall.
Yeah. But, most are going, well, if we can't do it in the spring, we'll do it in the fall. We don't want to do it in the summer. So, but it's okay. There's plenty of room in the summer and September, but October's the one right now filling up very fast. Yeah. Am I correct, Matt?
Yes, sir, you are correct.
I guess one of the good things is basically if things do free up a little bit early in May and we can register, I think there may be a lot more excitement, basically, at least having something people can participate in. So
yeah, I think everybody's looking forward to something.
Right.
But don't you think we should make a decision about a cutoff in terms of whether we're going to hold it on the 22nd or not? Because if we're kind of in limbo here, having time for people to sign up and participate and that kind of thing may be an issue also. And I don't think you want to not have full, as great a participation as we can have.
Yeah, we'll make a decision shortly. We're just going through the uncertainty of everything. So
right, and that's what I mean. I mean, I'd rather postpone a little bit than really push yourself up against the day and then not have time to promote it in that span of time after you make the decision. Just a thought.
Yep.
I can tell you that I've been talking to Tom, you know, have the closest to the pin shootout each year. And that's currently scheduled for May 11th. And so far, I have not rescheduled it. I'm still getting entries in right now. People are still contacting me, asking me if they can still join. So I think there's an interest out there. They're like me, they're hoping, keeping their fingers crossed that they can still hold it and participate. And I'm not going to reschedule mine yet. If I'm holding out in case that we can still have it on the 11th. My thoughts are if we can have mine on the 11th, we ought to be able to hold the other one on the 22nd.
Fair enough.
So that's kind of where we are. At least that's where I am on the shootout.
I think one thing we do need to probably think about up front is even if we can have the event, I think there's still a strong chance that we're going to have some social distancing requirements or, you know, to consider. So I think I have to make sure that, you know, however we set the event up and the activities and so forth, that we kind of take some of that into consideration. So, because I would expect that some of that may continue at least through the end of May. So
probably.
I think too, with the leagues being shut down and all other tournaments canceling, I don't want to run a tournament if we're doing that for all the other events too. So I don't want to have a one-off on a tournament when we're not allowing other things to go on. So we're going to hold on a little bit. If you guys want to give me a date where you think we should drop dead, you know, postpone it, I'll be glad to do that. But right now I'm looking at we have a full week of couples tournament at the end of May also that we're looking at moving to October. So we're moving things. So I don't mind moving it. If you guys think there's a date in mind in your heads that you think we should make that move by, I'll be willing to do that.
I would say you'd want to do by May 1st. That's 3 weeks away.
yeah, it'll be 3 weeks before the tournament.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Right? May 1st is a Friday, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and that's a Friday too. It's the Friday of Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
No.
Tom, question. If social distancing is one of the key factors, is that what you're going to wait for? Some decision at the state level?
Yeah, we're gonna follow. Yeah. My problem right now, Bruce, is the single cart rider. If we got to continue to do that, leagues we don't have enough carts for, unless you guys want to tee off till 4 o'clock, which is fine. And same with tournaments. We just don't have enough carts at each course and still fulfill all the needs of the other members that aren't in the tournament or the league, because we're filling up a lot of courses right now.
Have you thought it? Yeah. Well, as an aside note, I was thinking about going back to doing the scrambles, but instead of doing 8-minute separation, do like 12-minute separation.
We have starters times built in right now there's no more than 5 tee times an hour. We used to have 8, so we've cut back just so we don't run out of carts.
Yeah.
That's why we've allowed anybody can book now what they'd like, because we're protected on how many carts are going out at certain times, and we won't run out, because as the carts come in, that's when we'll need them again for the next grouping to go out. So
That's why you're blocking out. You see the first 2 or 3 tee times every hour seem to be redded out, and that's for cart reasons.
it is, and it's also keeping from big groups on the first tee and so forth. But you know, we're trying to keep the social distancing, because I'll be honest with you, Rhonda knows this very well. I gave her a picture and stuff. There's people taking pictures and wanting us to fail right now and close us down. So the more we can stay social distancing, the more we can keep golf open.
Okay. So, I mean, that seems like that would affect the May 22nd date as well. But the aside note is, maybe some of the leagues can get together with you and talk about continuing with the scramble, not the individual league play, but something like the women are doing with the Fun for Play kind of thing, to get some of those tees back up.
I'm all for it. I don't think they need to get with us. I think they could just go ahead and do it. Keep us out of it. Basically, I don't want to know. Just let them go. I just think the formal leagues is where we're stepped in and talked to the league presidents, and everybody's kind of agreed on that. But if you guys want to do that, we don't need to get involved. I think go ahead, like the ladies are doing. The only thing they asked us about was the patios, and that I can't help. That those are going to stay closed. Just because that's the law. So, or that's what was recommended by the governor for the state.
Well, something's going to happen, Tom, in the next 3 weeks, because we keep going like this. There's going to be a lot of divorces.
I agree, Mike.
Is it possible to allow leagues to play, but tell them there's a limit of how many players they can have on a day?
We could talk about it.
Whoever signs up first, like you're only allowed 60 players, and those.
Well, here's the problem, and Bruce will know this better than anybody. I can't say yes to one league and no to another. I don't think that's right. And with the 9-holers on Friday, with the ladies and the men both playing, right now there's not enough carts anywhere for that league to go out. So if I got to tell them no, it's hard for me to open up the other leagues for a recommended amount, because I know the 9-hole men. They're very active, and a lot of them play golf. They have over 100 in every week.
Isn't allowing each league at least a minimum of players to play each week better than nobody playing?
Well, here's the thing. The couples league wouldn't be a problem, because most of the couples at least would agree to ride in the same cart.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Depends on how long they've been cooped up.
Yeah. When I've been in contact with, I'll be honest with you, I don't think the lack of the leagues are stopping anybody from playing. We've got as much play out there without having a league right now. Today it went to 3 o'clock on 7 courses. It's pretty full out there. So it's certainly showing on nice days we have a lot of golf going on.
That's good.
That's good. All right. How about we move on the agenda on the other subcommittee on finance? Jamin, do you have anything to report there?
Well, the only thing I have to report is that I did put together the numbers. I gave them to Tom, and I passed them along to Phil and Ralph. I don't know how much Tom wants me to talk about it, but I give you a couple things. I mean, the total rounds, as far as I could tell, for 19 went down about 4,000. The interesting thing is that the loss of rounds was from members, whereas the rounds for outsiders was up. Would you agree with that, Tom?
You're spot on.
Okay. So I found that a little interesting. As far as the revenue goes, I show that we were down approximately $80,000 from the year before. And then, then I broke it down by individual rounds and so on and so forth. And, from the members, the money went up per round, but that's because there were 3,000 fewer rounds for members. So I'm not sure that's a really good sign. I would prefer it to have been higher and still gone up, but it didn't. And so that's about it. I mean,
Well, I can't agree more. We've really starting to grow the visitor play, the non-members.
Right.
I don't mean, I'm not trying to be that funny, but a little bit. It's only taken a pandemic to get the numbers back up. Now they're coming out and they want to play. So maybe in a backwards way, this might help more members get back out and play more golf. So down the road, hope it continues. That's all.
You can only do so many yard chores, Tom. Believe me, I know. So, I mean, overall, I thought it wasn't terrible. I mean, $80,000 is not, a tremendous amount when you're dealing with 5 million. But,
Weather.
yeah, well, there's always going to be weather though. Some years are better than others, but there's
But
always.
you're looking at 1 year. What about the trend?
Well, the trend is, well, we were 5.4 in 16, 5.6 in 17, 5.4 in 18, and 5.3 in 19. So 17, we must have had a really good weather year that year, because
We
that's
did.
Yeah, we
that's
did.
the only one that's really up. The other ones are holding steady, which, given the fact that there's not as many people playing golf, I think that's a pretty positive sign.
Yeah, what was the visitors percentage?
Visitors, let me see where visitors are. You mean in terms of rounds?
Yeah,
Non-member rounds went from 27.8 in 16, 30.4 in 17, this is 1,000, 28.9 in 18, and 31 this year, or last year.
31? That's
Yep.
a high, isn't it?
31,000.
That's our, stay and play was the big number there. That we increased that stay and play package quite a bit. Jamin, I want to send you too some graphs and some documentation I received from the National Golf Foundation about the last 5 years of weather. And it's got it's really interesting graphs that you need to look at, and I'll send them to you.
Yeah, that's fine. But so, I mean, I thought it was a pretty good year. It obviously could always be better. You'd like to see that number at 10 million, but I thought it was pretty good myself. So
Tom?
that's about all.
Thanks,
Tom?
Jamin, for all you did there.
No problem.
Thank you, guys.
Tom,
Yeah.
I think I saw somewhere that the number of annuals that have been purchased is down this year. Is that
Yeah,
been
that's-
affected? Has that been affected by the ability to put $1,000 at a time on your card?
Absolutely.
Do you think?
Yeah. Yep. That number doesn't show up until they spend that money. So
Right,
we've collected a lot, but it won't show up. So
right. But there's a trade-off there is what you're saying. So,
that 1,000 they can replace it if they want it. If they do twice, that's great. I
Right.
mean,
Right, I
they're still
understand that.
better
And
off. They're still better off buying the annual, but that's okay. I'll take the $1,000 any way I get it. So.
okay, sure. But you're not able to spend it, or are you? For example, when you get the money from the annuals, that money's available to be spent, to do, buy fertilizer, whatever you have to do for the courses, pay wages, you name it. Is the same true with the, when they put it on the card?
Yeah, all the differences is it's revenue. It's all revenue.
Yeah.
It's just the
Okay.
annual revenue comes in all up front, and that goes right
Right.
into the fund.
Right,
The other ones, they take the money in, but it won't show up on revenue in golf until they play those rounds.
till they play.
Till it comes off their card.
Tom, what was the last time I talked to you? I thought you said you sold about 133.
I've asked for that number twice. I don't have it in front of me, so I'll find out for you. Yeah, there was a bunch of them sold, and even with this the coronavirus, we've gotten a lot of people putting money on their card too, which is keeping people out of the pro shops. Which is at this time it's more cash flow. I mean, it really helps because they're putting money on their card. It's not going anywhere, but there's actually money coming in right now. So it's kind of helped us both times.
Hey,
Okay.
Tom, could you do a sort of a chart that shows what the annual rates have been over, say, like the last 5 years or 7 years?
Yeah, I just looked at the other day. I think it's gone up from $1,800 to $2,100 over the last 7 years. It's gone up a little bit, maybe 12 years. It's not risen a whole lot.
Has there been a corresponding decrease associated with the number of people that sign up?
It's definitely correlated with the newer members that don't play as much as the older members that first moved here, playing 5-6 days a week. The newer property owners are playing 2-3 days a week and not buying the annual so much. They're more of a daily play.
Bruce, the Greens Fees annual membership in 16 was about 700,000. 17 it was 859,000. Last year it was $1 million, and this year it's $1,128,000, or that 19. So it's trending up. I
Yeah.
think that the $1,000 card might knock it down, but I can almost guarantee that anybody that buys one's going to run out in May or June and buy another one. And then they might even buy another one. And if they buy another one and they run out at the end of the year, that's all profit. 'Cause they
Yeah,
can't use
well, yeah, that would have been stupid for them to do it 3 times.
it. Well,
Yeah, that-
not
but-
saying everybody in the village is the smartest knife, the sharpest knife in the drawer.
yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be a few people that do that.
Yeah.
This was a test to see if we couldn't get some more people that don't spend or play the 100 rounds, but maybe they'll play 50 rounds to buy something like that.
Yeah. Are they going to track the ones that that went in for the $1,000? How many rounds they actually use of it? So you could look at it like for next year to see.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's based on the rounds aren't going to vary much.
They don't go away.
Yeah, it's based on
Yeah.
the dollar, and the surcharge comes out, the cart comes out, and the green fee comes out. So
Yeah, but
if you look at a person with a private cart and they don't pay that, you could figure out how many rounds yourself, how much will fit into $1,000. I mean, it's going to be the same.
Well, it's
if
12.
they don't play the $1,000, it goes away at the end of the year.
No.
Correct.
And if you're saying if you put $1,000 on it, it's only good for the year they put it in?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's the cash card. You can put money on your card,
Right.
go into another what we call bucket, and
Yeah.
that'll never go away. But the cash card goes at the end of the year. Whatever's left on there is gone.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
And it's only for you. You can't use it for a friend or
Right.
anybody.
And don't you get $1,200 worth of golf
Right.
for $1,000.
Hey, Tom, have you noticed, you're talking about not using it for a friend. Have you noticed there's been any problems with that, more or less, since people can actually call up to the pro shop and
No, because they're things on the line, and no, there's been no problem. These are all members now. We're not tracking down people we don't know. These are people we see daily, so I've not come across anything.
If I may, Tom, I know I'm changing the subject here, but are we on a time limit here on the Zoom?
You got
Well, they set us off at 40 minutes.
no, I see you got an hour, I think. You
Okay,
got 4. Go ahead, finish up. Yeah.
just a
Yeah,
few minutes left here.
about
So,
4 minutes. Yeah.
let's quickly have Phil asked to be on the agenda about shotgun starts. Phil, can you condense it?
Well, we can postpone it till next month because there's nothing you can do about shotgun starts till the distancing issue goes away and we can have more than one person in the car.
Okay, so we can put it on the agenda for next month then?
Table.
Sure.
All right, great. Okay then, does anybody have anything else they'd like to say before we adjourn the meeting?
Just for my info then, Rhonda, you and I are still good through May, and Sherry and Greg don't come aboard till June. Is that what I hear?
Yes, you and I will still be on the committee through next month, and then in June, Karen and Greg will be on.
And
Okay.
then when they get a new chairman in June?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
someone else will be voted in, whatever the election, at the June meeting, then they'll have another election.
Yeah.
So, Okay, everybody, our next meeting is scheduled for May 21st. And hopefully we'll get to see you all in one room, but if not, we'll do this again. In the meantime, if anybody has anything they want on the agenda for next month, please contact me. And Mike Medica, I will come over to your house and make a delivery in a few minutes if that's okay.
That'd be fine.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at your door, ring the doorbell, and back off so that we don't have the contact. Okay?
Thanks again, Mike and Gary.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mike.
all.
Appreciate you all.
Have a
Meeting
great summer.
Thanks, everybody.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Sharon, how do I turn this?